What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Thursday morning. Just out here chilling a little bit. I'm gonna get some morning thoughts out there. I'll probably retitle this later. I know that last stream I just did the dot dot dot. Y'all know I'm being lazy as fuck. But anyway, mm, let y'all kind of come in here a little bit. What's up, D Mac the trucker? You know, um, MTR put up, I guess, the clip. I'm sure he saw it was a little bit of buzz on, a little bit of buzz on. Well, first of all, let me do this. Let me compare. Let me compare a couple of things. So I'm going to talk about real quick. One couple of things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to tie it together. The MTR mediocre, set out mediocre tutorial and reviews knocking at the door to one thing I think. Actually, okay, there's a couple of things I'm going to talk about. Like, one thing is I'm going to give my thoughts on the business of YouTube. One thing I'm going to give my thoughts on mediocre tutorial and views and him uploading Shahrazad Ali's kind of the specific clip, of which, well, of her talking basically a who hurt you comment and you got turned out by a man. Also, and also I'm going to tie in something O'Shea said. As far O'Shea did a video recently talk about Nick Cannon, basically talk about Nick Cannon, and I'm gonna tie that into why. Okay, basically tying that into Nick Cannon and why. Tying that into Nick Cannon, like he's having a whole bunch of kids, like a whole bunch of kids in a row. And when I say in a row, he got like 3 kids incubating. It's crazy. He's got, so it's a lot. Um, and he actually commented on that Howard Stern. I'm gonna tie it in together. And the last thing I want to actually bring together is this idea: is some of y'all, and this includes myself, gets annoyed by some of these videos. And one thing is, once I take a step back, I realize every certain content creators are not really red pill content creators. So they're making content for black people, but they're not necessarily making content for quote unquote red pill, which is not something you have to make. You don't have to make content for red pill. And I want to kind of highlight there is a difference. I'm not going to be here to kind of define completely what that is. I'm just giving my thoughts on it. So I'm going to bring that together. So let's talk about Shahrazad Ali real quick. The Honorable Shahrazad Ali. So one thing that I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing. Nobody is. I'm gonna tell you right now. Nobody's fucking above criticism. I don't care what you've done. I'm just gonna say this. Like I'm just gonna say it just like that. Like, it's one thing about throwing somebody away. It's another thing is, saying, kind of alluding that people are above criticism. So when people like to use the what somebody did as a mechanism for saying, well, they did all this stuff, so you're going to criticize them? The answer is yes. And the answer is you can't deal with it, get the fuck over it. The type of situation that we're in right now in the black community, I think black people think it's funny. They think it's a game. They think people don't really understand. And I say this, there is a level of urgency right now where everything's on the table. It really is. And at the end of the day, I hope she lives to 100 years old. I hope Dr. Claudia Anderson lives beyond 100 years old. But the reality of the situation is these people are not immortal. Nobody's immortal. Even Jesus Christ wasn't immortal in the way that we talk. So, you got to understand that people are going to have to take the reins eventually anyway. And really, it's the Xers next up. And God forbid they're going to be there. But anyway, even though technically Kevin Samuels is the Xer. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. He's 9,000 away from 1 million. And so a lot of things need to be examined. I'm going to keep it real with you. You know, although Mark Lamont Hill and Yvette Carnell caught heat, they didn't get as much heat as they otherwise should have from black people for waiting until Dr. Frances Quest Welsing died until they started trying to pick over what she said because, you know, politics dictates you got to be pro-LGBT. So that's where the commercial money is for people that are trying to play at that level. And so at least say what you want to about Grinch or me or whoever, at least we allowing motherfuckers to be alive to actually respond to shit that's being said, which is something that a lot of people are too cowardly to give people that courtesy. So let's keep that real. So that's that. But we all know the who hurt you argument, that you'd have been hurt by a woman or turned out by a man. And let's examine like what that really means. I'm going to talk about the hurt by a woman because that's more reasonable. You know, BGS was in the conscious community heavy, and he says like who hurt you. When people say who hurt you, he says you should say you bitch. So does Bernard. And Grinch has kind of relitigated this, but I'm going to say some of the stuff again. Number one, black women never minimizes the quote unquote perceived damage that they get from black men, no matter how petty it is. Never. It's always this like unforgivable thing. You got the same women that want to talk about who hurt you are the same, and obviously this isn't Shahrazad Ali, but I mean like the typical where that argument comes from. That's the same. Those are the same people that they use color purple. They'll say they'll use color purple as this like mantra. The people that have never lived the color purple experience, quote unquote, will use that as a mecca. And obviously this doesn't have nothing to do with her because she doesn't do that, but you get what I'm saying. They will use the color purple experience to basically justify whole political action. You know what I'm saying? These women will stay in relationships for years and then talking about like they've been hurt. Like these are the same people talk about what they've survived. Talking about they've survived. Like I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor of the black male experience. Basically, black men are these fucking monsters that I survived just by definition of me being born black. Black women are literally the most fragile group in this country as far as emotional fragility, and the most insecure. As far as emotional fragility, they're the most fragile, even more so than white women. But they're the main ones talking about who hurts you. And who hurts you is really designed to minimize the emotional and mental damage and consistent stress that black women not only encourage upon black male adults, but also their sons. You know what I want? I want a black woman had a fortitude to tell a black boy who hurt you. That's what I want. Because that's really how they feel. They feel like, remember, I've said this once and I'll say it again. Black women look at black men through the eyes of white men. And just like how, and you can tell by how a lot of black women have no problem having sexual experiences with young black boys if they have a certain physical look, no matter what their age is. You've seen this. This happens. Granted, white women do it too, but we have a matriarchal mindset in the black community. That's frowned upon in generally other communities. It's encouraged in the black community. So what is my point here? My point is Black women, the biggest issue is black women don't recognize black male pain because they don't recognize black male humanity. They just don't. And you don't have to be angry at black women in order to really observe this to be true. And Shahrazad Ali likes to talk about the black woman has never been examined. But you know what? I kind of asked myself, how would if that examination really happened, would she really be that gung ho for it? Because it really has never happened. And it's one thing to talk to the shit. It's another thing to actually go through it. Because I'm not on team Yvonne Van Zam, but I'm just saying Iyanla Vanzant, I mean, she basically came the closest to actually trying to do that on TV, and she was ran off the air. I didn't see Shahrazad Ali really backing her up. Now, granted, she's got her own issues because Iyanla Vanzant basically criticized her, which is on some bullshit. So I completely understand that. But anyway, let me not miss your super chat. Let me not shout out to Mental Agility. Kevin's last night was so bad that he took it down. Black men try to disagree, are making all black men look bad. Black women don't care about the not all. Like, first of all, like, look, man, who the fuck? I can talk about that on another video, but since you gave a $5 super chat, I'm gonna comment on it. I have not seen it. But if it's the same as the first one, here's the problem. The problem is, and okay, so let me say this first. I have 4,200 subscribers. Kevin has almost 900, basically a million. Who the fuck am I to comment on what the fuck he does? And all the criticism that he's dealt with, all the shit, like straight up. It's almost on some Trae Young type of shit. Okay? Let me put that out there. So I'm just a nigga that's running my mouth on YouTube. That some of y'all happen to find it informative. I appreciate. Let me be very clear about that. With that being said, since you are super chatting me, I'm going to respond to it and give my opinion. And Kevin's a corporate sales guy, which I wouldn't do corporate sales. I just don't want to put in effort to really be able to do that. And I have absolute respect. Corporate sales is much more difficult than direct sales because it's a relationship game over long term. So I got mad respect for that. Cancer, all that. And I would say the same thing with O'Shea. I may critique some videos and stuff, but that's why I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to kind of balance it out. But at the end of the day, these motherfuckers that build channels. O'Shea's fucking in medical school building a YouTube channel and running a blog. So I understand all that before I say it. But get it? You're asking me, I'm gonna tell you since you put $5. Kevin is human. Some of the stuff is going to require experimentation. One thing I like about Glendon is you see he's very upfront with his experimentation, what works, what doesn't work. Everything's not going to work. And I appreciate that Kevin wants to bring the man back into it now that he has a platform. And I think there's strategy behind that. But at the end of the day, I think he wants to do it too. And I'm not somebody that is going to say, well, I could have predicted that one wasn't going to work. I'm not going to say that. However, we have 2 videos. Here's the problem. When dudes first, if you're gonna make this is the problem that I think I've observed with it. The problem is that Kevin, you can't say 1 + 1 is 2, and then call if you disagree. Now, women can emotionally feel shit, and then because they can speak through their emotions, and then even if it sounds dumb, still make a much more stronger case. These guys don't even believe in half the shit they're calling. So the point is, you are literally, it's almost, fuck 1 + 1 is 2. It's like, okay, imagine you got people that have flat earth theory, right? And it's like saying, okay, I believe the world is round. I've given all of this examples. What benefit did Jeff Bezos, what benefit, the world is round. Okay, prove me wrong. And then you'll have people call in, and a lot of what they're going to say is going to sound crazy. It may believe them, but the logic is not there. And that's essentially what Kevin's doing. Kevin is creating air. If I were really brainstorming and not say just scrap it all, Kevin's creating arguments that are way too airtight. And part of that is automatic because he's had to do that in order to deal with the women. I get that. But with the men, you got to make it more open-ended. You got to. Why? Because the people that are called, you're literally leaving no wiggle room. So only the retards are going to call in. And I hate to say it like that, And I'm not even calling all those guys retarded, but well, I kind of am. But you get what I'm saying. Like only the retarded arguments. Only the retarded arguments. Let me give you a perfect example. O'Shea did a video just now with you know Nick Cannon. He 10-minute video, made a statement, made his case. Technically, that's open ended. Now that video's for bitches. That video's not for dudes. But because my argument, if I was calling O'Shea, because he was making the argument that, well, you're getting all these women pregnant, but you're complaining about single mothers. Well, a couple of arguments. Number one, there's a reason why entertainers are not counted as normal dudes, even like normal 92. BGS will call it 100 octane. Kevin doesn't even recognize them as true high value men, high value folks, like not on that basis because they operate in a different world, a different stratosphere. It's kind of like talking about billionaires when you look at marriage. You can't talk about billionaires the same way when you look at marriage because no matter how much, even if you take half, they still have plenty of capital to kind of reconstitute the shit they already have for the most part. So it's not the same. It doesn't break people to say, wait, yeah, we may see a huge number, but the reality is they have the fact they have those assets to split means general, especially if it's businessmen, they can kind of reconstitute those assets, just give them time. That's why you saw Bezos and other people pop their money up. Notice how Bill Gates and Melinda Gates waited a long time to do what they did versus Bezos and them did it relatively early when you look at him really popping off. The other aspect of it too is the dynamics of sexual access are not the same for men and women, but because of how men pick and how women pick. The reality is women control sexual access, they control childbirth. So as much money as Nick Cannon has, and yes, that creates another incentive. At the end of the day, those are still women making decisions to get pregnant by him. This is why you see women doing it with NBA YoungBoy. This is why you see in other sex cases. And then we also know how Nick Cannon feels about abortion in the first place. So the reality of the situation is, yes, we can blame him all day, every day. But as far as I'm concerned, Nick Cannon is living a lifestyle like some kind of Muslim or shit. Here's the problem. Now, if he starts to complain, yes, that's on him. That's only on him. But Nick Cannon's been running a harem, and so you don't typically see that with businessmen. Business people that come up in a different route that's not in entertainment or athletics don't typically operate that way. Even dudes that make a hell of a lot of money, not like that. See, but the argument was open ended. Kevin makes it's not to say, well, Kevin's just so smart. The issue is Kevin's a sales guy, so he knows how to make ironclad arguments where you're killing the objections before they even start. That's what good sales copy people do, and that's what good salesmen do. They anticipate the objections. That's part of what knowing your audience. You anticipate the objections, you kill them before they even start. And so the problem is you're killing all the argument. Even if, let's say, you want to do it this way, well, you're killing the arguments. You're not leaving them open ended enough for people to call in and add to it. And then on top of that, they're not even calling in to add to it. They're calling in to disagree. Man, you can't disagree with the fucking sky being blue. And most dudes agree, even dudes that don't like. The problem is dudes that don't like Kevin on a lot of bullshit. It's not on some like legit shit. It's like I don't feel like Kevin should be representing black men because I'm a real ass nigga and he don't represent that. Like for instance, like Kevin was talking about the bad boy image, the rogue image, and the pretty boy image, right? And if you look at and there's a lot of dudes that they don't feel Kevin should represent that because Kevin's more, I guess we'll say, the pretty boy image to the extent that we're gonna say that, and they don't respect that, and that's because that for the most part that's all they know. Or you got the builder class versus the class shit. So it's it's not really a lot of logical shit. It's really just some emotional shit. Like he doesn't represent me, and so therefore it is what it is. I know this is like taking me off where I was talking before. So it's really no argument, but you have to leave it open ended, and then you want to have a dialogue. But it's not the same with the women because women have all this bullshit they got in their head that justifies why they do what they do. Men, it's very like the way you coach men and coach women are completely different. Because like he knows this. He knows this more than I do. He's run teams. He knows this. So the problem is that's the problem. That's really the problem. And he's trying to deal with women and men like it's the same, and it's not the same. I mean, he knows that, and I guess maybe he didn't think it'd be that bad. And then on top of that, it ain't a whole bunch of dudes. Understand something? The dudes that agree with Kevin are not like fucking out here really looking to call him like that. It's the dudes that really want to get at Kevin, like for real want to get at Kevin, are dudes that really don't like him for whatever the fuck. They don't like him, whatever the fuck, and they want to get at him because, as Kevin said, they want to get him told. That's it. And dudes are not necessarily thirsty for attention like that either. That's another thing. This is why you can't build platforms around dudes like that. Like O'Shea's like really come the furthest. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not gonna tell me mediocre ain't got a good amount of Caucasian audience. So O'Shea is really rocking mainly with black men. I probably say he's got 80% black men, maybe a little bit more. So that I mean that's kind of where it starts and where it ends on that. That's where it starts and where it ends. So if you're gonna do the show with men, you're gonna have to number one, it needs to be a dialogue because there's a lot of and look, I'm just throwing it out there like what I might think about. I'm not trying to tell this motherfucker what to do. I'm really not because I get it, but what I would do is you gotta approach it differently. Like there maybe there's dudes that like shout out to Titus Unlimited, shout out to maybe getting like shit. You want somebody to disagree? Shit, get some big people. Get Mike. Try to reach out to Mike Rashid. Mike Rashid, like people like people that really think they got something to disagree on. Like you want somebody to disagree? Mike Rashid. Mike Rashid, and listen to what that nigga got to say. I guess. I mean, because you listen because he Fresh and Fit was on his shit the other day, and I mean, Mike Rashid clearly has his problem is he has a worldview problem. His worldview is it don't matter what women do, just alpha your way through it. That's his worldview. That's his worldview. Because some of the shit he was talking about, he's talking about, yeah, man, but it's always been 80% of the women want 20% of the men. It's always been like that. But see, the problem is, dude, you got to run a society. The problem is you have to run a society. You can't run a society that way because society's not going to be run that way. Because what's going to happen is the 80% is just going to kill off the 20%. And there's no way for the 20% to defend against the 80%. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have fucking the Sith doing. They just going to kill y'all off or create situations where you all are constantly in poverty. Kind of what you see white men do with kind of what Francis Quest Wilson. You see what white people do with black men. They're gonna fucking create an environment that fucking destroys you. So it doesn't work that way. But that's that where you have a dialogue. But you getting random dudes to call. I mean, anybody, yeah, that shit's cool when you got bitches doing it. But when you got dudes doing it, it looks goofy because, quite frankly, you got to scratch. You're not gonna get a fucking degreed up dude really calling like that. They're gonna have serious problems because most dudes operate within a certain sense of logic. Now, there's certain emotional things dudes may disagree on. It's just not gonna be that way. And I don't know how else to like say it. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else to say it. But all them shows are gonna be like that. Because you're literally having dudes disagree with arithmetic. So who the fuck you think gonna call in? Or they're gonna call in disagreeing but agreeing. And then they don't even know how to really disagree, but at the same time add on. Because he's saying disagree, which means you got to be 180 against what he's saying. I don't think that there's so much disagreement as more is there things that you can add to it. But then when you do that, he got something to say. Like for instance, the situation when he was talking about somebody being, he was talking about belonging into a group. Well, that the definition of that, I mean, when we say a group, are we talking about a group that's equally yoked? Or are we talking like a network? Or are we talking about a group where there's people that depend on you? That they have invested interest into your success, so to speak. Like, you know, but folks don't have enough critical thinking skills to really understand the nuances of that. So yeah, it's just not gonna work that way. And then you got people that they have their own political reasons of wanting to do that, where they're gonna say, "Oh well, these are the men we got to pick from." Bitch, those are not the men that you're picking. So shut the fuck up. Like, you know, so it's not gonna work that same way. It'd probably be better you just do interviews of very high value men and you ask them. I mean, it's like I don't know, fuck, but that shit ain't gonna work because dudes are not calling in for the same reason. You're actually wanting to create a dialogue when you have an airtight argument. End of. So now they sound stupid. And Kevin knows this. Kevin's talked to dudes before he's talked to us in the Sphere. He understands this. I mean, shit, does the shit not go the same way when BGS, when motherfuckers disagree with BGS? Saying we hear it all the time when BGS does a shadow point. Motherfuckers disagree and they sound stupid as fuck. Why? Because the argument's airtight. Niggas want to talk about fucking 5G and shit. This is not something new. All right, I'm done with that. Because I do want to get back on my other shit. Shout out to Son is a Hot Rod. That fourth grade reading level is real because you have grown men who can't even construct a coherent sentence, reading comprehension, and those guys, on Kevin Shannon displayed that. Yeah, absolutely. And those aren't even the guys that's supposed to be coming out with the reading level. You're absolutely right. And by the way, these are dudes. These women may laugh. These are dudes these women are having kids with. And these are dudes they want to talk. This is why you think a lot of these motherfuckers want to be rappers and shit. You know, and they want to call, you know, anything that's in tech lane. There's a reason for that. And that shit's cute until that's your baby daddy. Then you look like a fucking moron. Anyway, going back to Shahrazad Ali um, situation, or you know that video, and I get why MT did it as far as a buzz, or a mediocre, but real talk, that might not have been the smartest move. That might not have been the smartest move. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to the black, I'm gonna say this, and I say this with love and respect, but she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about when she talks about the black manosphere. So, quite frankly, that's a question that honestly, it's not really the most fair to ask her that question because at the end of the day, she doesn't know what the fuck. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. So and the problem is that's why I hate it when that big titty bitch asked her that question. They're asking her shit she doesn't really know what the fuck she's talking about. Not on us. She don't. Think about it. And this is what I would ask her. I say, look, with all due respect, with all due respect, how many gay black men are out there in social media or media? Like, How many gay black men did you seen that are really antagonistic to black women? This is keep it real. Did Dr. Francis Quest Welsing his somebody that is that is at the same level as Shahrazad Ali, the same level of reverence? She said this. She said this. A black woman. What did she say? She said that generally gay folk they're gonna have this they have the same job, which is remove the masculinity from black men. So that's gonna put them in direct opposition to heterosexual black men, and that's gonna put them in common cause with black women to have the same thing. Shahrazad Ali wants to make the assumption that most black women are like that. See, she wants to play the misguided game. I don't play that game. I play that they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. And we need to stop playing this game like people don't. So no, black women and gay men are in common cause. I mean, what? Dennis Sperling, everybody always says it. Kevin, everybody always says it. BGS, Pitt. Black women, they'll call a dude gay or the F-bomb, but they always defending their gay friends. Hell, some of these women, shout out to David Carroll, a lot of these women are starting to have sex with gay men. They want to play the I didn't know game bullshit. They know. They care that much about how a dude looks. So, real fucking talk. I know she knows this. So, off that, you got turned out. Guess what? The dudes that really got turned out, let's look at the dudes. Let's look at two groups of dudes that really got turned out. Dudes that are actually gay, right? And dudes that are in prison. Guess what? Both of them generally are going to side with black women. Both of those men are not going to be red pill. Most black men that are red pill tend to lean on being conservative. How many gay black men do you know that are conservative? Let's cut the bullshit. And she's not a dumb woman, and we're not going to play the senile card. That we're not playing. So again, that was a shaming tactic. That wasn't a she didn't know, she didn't misspeak. At the end of the day, Shahrazad Ali does not care how a black community is forged and competitive. And if you got to shame the dudes to stay in, so be it. I mean, by her definition, any black man that dates anything other than a black woman must be sus, as people like to call it. Suspect. By her definition. So no, that needs to be examined. That's why I agree with Obsidian when Obsidian said that. And then you got people talking about, well, it don't matter what I do, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right. If you say if you say some stupid shit like that, you right. That shit can have people calling to go back over your shit and call into question. Your motivations can be tested, can be questioned. And you know what? Maybe y'all should be mad at Mediocre for asking the fucking question in the first place. Like real fucking talk. If y'all want to get mad at somebody, get mad at him. Get mad at him clout chasing and throwing her name under the bus by putting that out there. Cause dudes they said they peace and let it go. Now he put a video up, relitigating. Don't get mad. Get mad at the person that had control over the information, which is him. He didn't have to ask that question. I mean, it should have already been enough that she went to talk to him, but no, he wanted to go for everything. What do you think about the manosphere? Didn't even ask him. Who have you ever listened to anybody? You chose me. I appreciate that. Okay. Is there anybody else that you've been paying attention to just to get a baseline as to what she knows? Because technically, Kevin definitely, Kevin's show ain't really a red pill show. There's certain things that the red pill can benefit from Kevin, but Kevin is not like a red pill guy either. I'm not saying he's blue pill, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Kevin's more purple pill, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying that as a diss, but what I'm saying is, but that's what she's looking at. So I mean, it's retarded. And so, and people, and I know why the women do it. The women do it as a mechanism. The women do it as a mechanism to try to get her to throw red pill, to throw black men under the bus so they can say, oh, these guys that are not a part of the gynocracy are the enemy. Would you notice how, even though Kevin said that black women are not the enemy, notice how black women love labeling black male dissidents as the enemy. Notice that. Notice that. The problem is not that black men believe black women are their enemy. The problem, you can't convince men that black women are enemy if you wanted to. The problem is that you can't even convince these motherfuckers to stop fucking these bitches. I mean, they're fucking ogre looking bitches. So the problem, that's not the issue. The issue is, do black women believe black men are the enemy? But nobody wants to ask that question because, quite frankly, they're afraid of the answer they might get. They're afraid of what that bitch might actually say. Okay. They're worried. They're not confident. They're not confident really in that black women won't say something stupid. Shout out to F Holiday. What do you think of chart of blue pill, red pill, black pill? I haven't seen the video. Appreciate the $5 for chat. I mean, at the end of the day, we use these terms as a way of understanding certain ideologies. You have people that use it as a brand, like and to clout chase and get views. Um, and I don't even want to relitigate that in this video. It's just people are misusing that. I use it as an education tool. They're using it as a branding tool, or a branding tool or a way to get views. Like I saw Mike Rashid do that. That's really what that shit is. That's really what folks are doing, and it is what it is. But some people are here to get views. Some people are here to actually solve a problem. And I'm not saying you can't get money and do both, but you can tell the intentions behind certain people as to which is more of a priority. Hold on. Shout out to Dwayne for the $5 super sticker. Much appreciated. Yeah, any black like that polygamy, and then that's enough. Shout out to the work BGS does too, man, because that matriarchal mating pattern is real. Black women won't even sacrifice that. Black women want to have multiple babies by multiple different men, and they want other people to raise their bastards. That's what they want. And the problem is they're killing the race because a lot of dudes are basically choosing not to even have sex with them. And then the dudes that want a family are going to slowly come to the conclusion that they're just not compatible to have a family. People want to talk about, well, you black, we black, so therefore we need to keep it black. No, we're not culturally. Black people are getting further and further from cultural compatibility because the reality is black men are not trying to do that. If black men want a family, they want a family. They don't want to raise your bastards in some kind of village shit. And because black men have an inability to really be honest and tell the truth and about what they see and force a real conversation, we're just going to be in this kind of Titanic, before it sinks, stagnant mode. And it's going to get worse. Black Guru strikes out for the $5. I view Shah Harzad Ali as I do Bill Russell to be remembered and honored, but has no business trying to play in the current game. Absolutely, I can respect that. I can respect that. I understand her message. I understand her talking to MTR, and honestly, that's not her fault. That's MTR's fault. MTR asked her the question. It should have been enough that she talked to him, but he wanted to ask that. And I honestly, and look, man, who the fuck am I? He asked it in real time. I mean, I'm kind of backseat quarterbacking, but he did make a conscious decision to upload that specific clip. So I can be empathetic on that. But real talk, you're kind of reopening a wound. And so if dudes really, and it is what it is, and that's another thing. Like I said, I was listening to O'Shea's content with the Nick Cannon thing, and I came to a realization. O'Shea's channels, I mean, and this may sound obvious, like no duh, Edward. O'Shea's channel's not a red pill channel. And so a lot of the disagreements we have with certain people, and that's not to say he's a blue pill channel or anything, but O'Shea is more about dealing with black men and all black men. He doesn't really look at quote unquote the pills to dictate or guide what he does. And I'm not saying he should. But what I'm saying is, a lot of time, I had to take kind of double back look. Like, what are some of these videos for? Well, these are not videos that are quote unquote um red pill. They're not. So if you look at it through that lens, you're probably gonna have a problem with what you're seeing. And this is not all his videos. This is not even most of his videos are fine. It's just every once in a while he'll do a video where you can tell he's doing the devil's advocate thing just to do it. And it is what it is. But you have to, and same thing with Mediocre. Mediocre may talk about the red pill, but Mediocre puts distance between that because he understands how people associate it. And I don't personally care, but at the end of the day, I don't got channel this their size. So they have an actual asset to manage. So you have to know how to put this information out here in such a way um, that can be communicated. This is why I often talk about common sense. You're right. It is called celebrity junk. So, but and so applying celebrity junk. This is what Jason Black used to criticize Lovely Ti for when people would try to apply morals to celebrities. You can't, because they're dealing with a different tool set than what regular people are. Even people that are like high level, like 92s and stuff, it's a different game. And half of them don't even got their money all the time. Most of them go broke. So we're sitting here, we're sitting and I'm not, and obviously they're informative because obviously the point of that, I didn't know Nick Cannon was having kids like that. So I'm informed that he's doing that, and shout out to Jesse Veal for giving me kind of a reason why. But anyway, my point, that's what I was gonna bring together too. It's not red pill content. And I'm not saying that every black man has to do red pill content. I'm not saying every black man should. Because I'm not like a red pill religious. I mean, I'm loyal to common sense before anything else. Um, but you have to sometimes take a step back and kind of look at this from a different looking glass, a different lens. He's not pushing a gynocratic message, and that's why some of y'all gotta get off that bullshit. Y'all are either like one thing I'm gonna tell you that's a pet peeve of mine, and I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. It's the binary. I don't like binary thinkers. I don't like thinkers that they think it's either this or that. It's not. Like, I don't like Kevin has probably done more to actually push along like a conversation than anybody. Yet y'all want to, as soon as somebody say one little thing, y'all want to sit here and say, "Oh, that's a gynocentric message." Yes, dude. I'm sorry that this nigga isn't saying that marriage is the devil, because that's really what y'all biggest gripe is. Y'all biggest gripe with Kevin is he doesn't say marriage is evil and any black man that gets that's really what y'all want somebody to say. And I'm like, what fucking world do y'all live in? Like, seriously. Like seriously though. Like honestly. Like, y'all are really on that shit. Like, oh, I just don't like the fact he accepts marriage. And my thing is, why is it, this is the thing I want to know. Why is it that you all are so invested in every nigga not getting married? Because here's the thing, y'all will say y'all don't really care where the community goes or the community is dead. Yet for some reason y'all are invested at what another motherfucker does in that way. Like, y'all are really butthurt about somebody get like wanting to get married. It's like how black men are when it comes to tricking. Y'all really, like, black men gotta really stop getting so invested in what other motherfuckers do. Well, if nobody wants to get married, then they'll save the community. Well, the black community is what the black community is now, and that black women ain't changing. Not that I've seen. It's a gynocentric message. Marriage is technically not a gynocentric message. Not alone, not on its face. So y'all got to start putting shit in its proper like context and stop fucking like making these like hyper like these hyper, because what you do is you undermine the argument. That's why I get annoyed. You all just like y'all get mad at Smurgo. That's when y'all talk about Smurgo doing some of the shit he does. Y'all do the same shit. It's just not to that intensity. And y'all undermine the message when y'all do that. Y'all really do. Because it makes it seem like you all are not operating from common sense, that you all are operating from emotion. And you see what that looks like when Kevin had those folks call in. Yeah, it's got to be anything that makes black men look bad is a gynocentric message. No. And it's just a lack of nuance in that. Just like how like let me see. Darius Harper writes, "Is Bernard working with you on his next stream? You were just talking that topic on your last stream. What does it take for excommunication?" No, he's not working with me. It was probably a good argument. It was probably a good point, and he probably wanted to do a show about it. I'm glad Bernard does great shows. I'm glad he's doing a show about it because I think it's an honest question. I want to hear what black men think, and I ain't got time to be doing these panels all the fucking time. Let him do it. I'll come over there and support him. Yeah, no man should, but if a man chooses to do it, that's his choice. And y'all got to learn how to let men make a choice. Y'all have to learn how to let people make their choices and stop being this so paternalistic where y'all want to tell motherfuckers what the fuck to do. I put the information out there. I give you my opinion if it's dumb or not. At the end of the day, you do what you want. I'm not going to be constantly up y'all. Why you doing this? Why you doing that? You shouldn't do that. Like, I don't know where y'all really get the fucking like gall of be doing that to the extent that y'all do it. This is the like niggas like dudes want to deal with black women, let them deal with them. You can every time if they start talking shit, you can bring it up. But at the end of the day, as men, they have a right to make those decisions. And some of y'all, I talk about this even when people try to come on my shit and tell, or come on other people's shit and say what somebody should do. Black men have a very bad habit of trying to impose their will on other black men when they have no power to do so. And I know PK was trying to say, well, that's the nature of manhood. No, that's not. Other races don't do that, not to the level that we do it. That's that Highlander bullshit. It really is. And we need to cut the bullshit and try to act like, oh, that's not what motivates people. Really think they got the right to try to tell. Well, that's just how it is. No, it's not just how it is, because we don't. Because other groups work together a hell of a lot more than what we do. So that should tell you something. Like cereal, well, that's just how it is. No, it's not. It's deeper. People really be out here thinking, like, people be really losing sleep over what somebody else does. Now, obviously, there's degrees to it, and there's a healthy way of doing it. I get that. But, like, when people say, like, people don't know how to take the good with the bad. If you don't want kids, I mean, even Kevin said that on his stream. He said, as a man, you have to pick the path. And you can tell Kevin don't necessarily agree with the MGTOW message, but he at least acknowledged it's an option men are taking. And at the end of the day, women are going to have to deal with that. He didn't use the term MGTOW, but he said if you want to be a bachelor, if you don't want kids to pass y'all great genes down to, you really shouldn't have marriage on the mind. Absolutely. But see, the problem is you deal with a community at which black women are cool with you're dealing with a community where black women have no problems having a baby by you, but they don't want to get married. And they see marriage as far as a control mechanism, which is ironic because they don't. So, quite frankly, in that way, those women shouldn't be getting kids. That was kind of the point O'Shea had video. But then you have this problem of sexual access. You solve that problem by maximizing your sexual access. That's why I said that. That's why I said what I said about how black men should not minimize their sexual access to one group of women. That's dumb because you put that back in your the ball back in your court. I never said Candace Owens was a conservative, but I don't know if you talked to somebody else in the chat. Yeah, men are not because you can't like Kevin. Like honestly, I would ask him a simple question: what the fuck? What argument? Like, okay, disagree with your own argument, and then let's see how hard it is. Like Kevin makes airtight arguments. You're not gonna just disagree, and niggas are not coming up there to look like idiots. So you gotta do any dude that has like a couple of ounces of any dude that has any kind of like common sense is not gonna go up there and embarrass himself like that. And he's saying he got a lot of people. Well, shit, you got 1,000,000 people. Yeah, you gonna find a couple of knuckleheads. Dude, saving okay under like Panther God. I mean, let's keep this all the way 100. You know, one person doesn't destroy a group. So if the group decides that the group is going to hold the group hostage, so because they want to get their petty bullshit and they don't want to be adults, well, that choice was already made. So your argument doesn't work. You want to say, oh well, it's saving yourself. Who are you? Say it's not about. It's saving yourself. Is exactly what that is. Saving yourself. It's about you. If the group has already made a decision. The group made the decision, and the group has a more bigger power to influence things. So no, again, um, if people want to go with the argument, meaning if the price of if it's going to be my happiness versus the black community, I'm choosing my happiness, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't control them. If black men, you cannot tell black men to sacrifice happiness for a community that doesn't belong to them and they don't control. You could ask that of men that they control a community. If they don't control a community, then it's nothing worth sacrificing. And I understand that some of y'all got this emotional attachment to it. So quite frankly, no matter what black women do, you niggas are gonna stay and hope that they find religion. But no, I don't have that. And I'm not. And you only live once because these women are straight up operating on I'm doing me. So it is what it is. It's just folks just want to live because honestly, it doesn't matter. Like people speaking lip service to being in the. This is why you got a lot of fucking pro blacks that date white. They know it's bullshit. They know what they ain't stupid. They know what the problem is. They know exactly what the problem is. Y'all the ones that want to believe in the fucking tooth fairy and shit. That's not my problem. Y'all want to believe Santa Claus really brings presents? That's an emotional thing, and I invite you all allowed to have it. Don't like people want to talk about saving like well destroying the community. A lot of black people have already made that decision that they don't. Most black people do not care about the community, and we need to stop acting like most black people do. You can't even get black people to buy black. Well, it's not about defeatism. It's not about defeatism. Saving yourself could be you dating interculturally. What saving yourself means is that you are not going. Saving yourself does not necessarily mean you're going to date interracially. What it means is you are not going to be beholden to the gynocratic codes that you have been told you have to follow. That's all it means. Now, if that means the community is going to be destroyed, well, you know what? There's a lot of people that's already made that decision. But that to even get to that decision, that means a lot of people have already made a decision that they're going to do what they want to do no matter what. It has nothing to do with defeatism. It had defeat for what? What are you saying is defeat? See, that's another way of saying the way I'm hearing what you're saying. That's another way of saying, oh, you're defeated by accepting you can't control your women. It's a fact. It's not defeatism. It's called being you're in denial. This is why a lot of motherfuckers get married and then they end up getting fucked over and it's like they got the I just can't understand. You can't understand because you were in denial. You're in denial. It's not defeatism. A lot of y'all are in denial. And once you understand that, it's like, okay, well, y'all are going, I'm not about to argue with y'all in denial. Y'all see the same shit I see. If y'all want to hope until it's over, go ahead and do that. Just like people that want to smoke cigarettes. If you understand that smoking cigarettes cause cancer, you like, fuck it, I believe in liberty, cool, do that. David Carroll doesn't believe it causes cigarettes. I believe it does. I'm not about to be invested. You can do what you want. I'm not going to be invested in telling you what you how to live your life. You want to sit there and do that, do that. And like I said, all my family dates black women. But at the end of the day, what I will not say do it like, and if y'all want to, all you got to do is find is one. So it's not about being defeatist, but what it's also not, because remember what I said. I said that sexual men need to understand the difference between sexual access and having a kid. And the problem is too many black men don't understand the difference. They believe they're one and the same. They believe that only having sex with black men is them declaring their loyalty to black men. That's how a bitch thinks. That's how a female thinks. Like straight up. It really is. Yeah. I mean, you want even using that terminology. I understand that emotionally, black men want to find a way and they want to believe there's a way. Look, do what you want, but at the end of the day, just like when you deal with females, if they deal with quote unquote relationships they say are toxic, understand you're making that decision, and that is your decision. That is your decision. Don't say you didn't know. Don't say nobody told you. Don't say you were misinformed. You made a conscious decision with agency, and I hope it works out for you. And I'm not even talking about you in particular. I'm just talking about in general, anybody that believes that, because most of the dudes that believe that, they were married pre 2010, so they were in a different marriage environment and they're just trying to apply that. But hey, I'm not here to convince you water's wet. Sorry. I'm not here to tell, like, I don't care. I'm here to lay out the facts. What conclusion y'all want to draw is what y'all fucking want to draw. But one of the biggest impediments to the community is black men's inability to identify what the actual problem is. And to the extent that black men, like, I'm gonna keep it real, I'm starting to think black men are afraid of black women too. I really am. Like, I really am. The level of denial that black people are just in, it's it's man, it's really a wonder to behold. It's really a wonder to behold. It is really a wonder to behold the level of denial. But yeah, man, that oh, you've been turned out by a man. Most gay dudes are on team black women. What are you talking about? So you're either a simp or you really gonna tell me? Oh my god, whatever. And then the who hurt you shit. I mean, that's like, oh well, y'all, the black woman he fell and you fell in love with didn't like you, so therefore you hate all. Like, shut the fuck up. I mean, are we fucking like 12? Like I mean, her whole life the same. Literally, we could show 50 years of the same fucking arguments being used. And the only thing that's gonna do is be like, you know what? That I'm out. That's all what that's gonna do. All right. I didn't did this. It ain't never easy thing to accept death. I'm glad I got out the game right before social media became normal and standard. Yeah, yeah, Georgia boy. I mean, shit. If we all knew, I mean, I was how old was I? I would have been too young. I'd have been like 21, 22 because I graduated high school 2005. So you're talking about like I would have been 23 by the time 2010. Yeah, but see, another thing is you got too many hoes. You got too many chicks. They wanna get divorced so they can relive their whole phase because they want to hold. I mean, the shit is insane when you really think about shit. Shit is actually fucking insane. It really is. Fuck, can't believe this shit. All right, y'all. It's been real. I appreciate y'all. If you're new here, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Appreciate the new flow. I've been definitely gaining some good growth, and I ain't even really been doing shit like that. As far as really like put like really doing the shit I need to do to really push it. So I appreciate it. But I'm gonna let y'all hop on another stream. Yeah. I'm an introvert by nature. So y'all be talking like a lot of y'all be projecting how y'all feel about certain shit on the other people. I mean, like I said, a big reason why black men don't like remember, women are social creatures. Men are supposed to kind of be able to deal with isolation a little bit more than women. And you got to understand too that a lot of times the standard, that incel standard shit, is a lot higher for black men than it is for non-black men. You got black motherfuckers that they want to, oh, niggas can't put their words together. Like, it really ain't that many black men that are like that. And the black men, and a lot of black men that are like that, are still able to fuck these hoes. Because so y'all be really trying to act like nigga, it's just cause a black woman don't want you because you on a spectrum and don't know it. I'm like, nigga, shut the fuck up. Like when I hear people say that shit, like the level of fucking ridiculousness that you have to pull to even believe that shit is like really on some other shit. It really is. Nigga, you on a spectrum. That's why they really don't like you. Because that's the only explanation. That just goes to show you how deep, like how shallow somebody is. You really believe that shit. Well, then explain these retarded ass niggas that can't read that they having kids by now. I'm just saying that in general. Anyway, with that being said, yo, this is Edward signing off. Peace.